Well, here we are interviewing the interviewer. We are photographing the photographer, Suzanne Bradley Ince, who you all know from Once Time, who does all of her Real Jamaica series and talks to people. Saw a great one with Dickie Jobson the other day. And of course, now she's a cousin of Dickie and of Wayne, of course, and Carolyn. And she's in Toronto here. And we said we just bring her into the studio of Once Time and talk to her about her travels. Suzanne, welcome to OnceTime and myjamopa.com. You are live.
Great to be here. I haven't been back to Toronto now in 10 years.
Wow, really?
Right.
So, and you're headed to Jamaica. You're headed south.
Flying out tomorrow to Jamaica again.
Wow, that's wonderful, terrific. So, tell me about how did you get into photography? Because I never knew you as a photographer growing up. I knew you as a stew.
A stewardess, right? But when I was at school in England, I did photography as part of fashion.
Yeah.
Right. And then after my kids got older, I just kind of got more and more into it. But if you look back over the years in Jamaica, I took photographs of all of us when we were 15, 16, 17.
Really?
Yeah.
With something like a brownie or one of those Kodak things.
Right, or real, those little basic cameras, right.
That's terrific. So you're using some pretty high-tech stuff now, some serious SLRs and high-tech, both video and stills. Yeah.
Video, yeah.
That's wonderful. So, I mean, for those of you who have not obviously seen her work, you can log on to oncetime.com. There is a thing called the Scenery Library. When you click on that by alphabet, you will see Suzanne Bradley Ince and some amazing pictures. And of course, also from time to time, there are special features and so forth. The latest one being some golf tournaments and I think it's kiteboarding in Bounty Bay and stuff like that. Some really, really great shots. What do you think makes a good photographer? What's one of the key things?
I think with photography, you have to look, really look. I just know when I'm driving along or looking at a scenery, just don't pass by and glance.
Mm-hmm.
Really look at what you're looking at, and kind of appreciate it from a different angle. Because most people just drive past, and if you see a beach, or I took a photograph of a man sitting on a rock, just staring out into the sea. And actually, I was driving past, slowed down, saw him, jumped out the car and took his photograph. And it was amazing because he was just sitting there staring at this out to sea, and actually was smoking a spliff.
Wow.
But just the moment,
Mm-hmm.
you have to just really take a look when you're driving.
So it's capturing. So it really is about capturing the moment as
Right.
such. Then.
Right. My theory is in Jamaica that every street corner has a story on it.
Oh, that's a great little saying.
Yeah,
Every
because
street corner has a
little
story.
Yes, it
That's
does.
a great title for a book, by the way. You should do a photo book. Every Every street corner has a story. Photos, stories in photos by Suzanne
And
Bradley.
that doesn't happen in Canada. Let me tell you, it's homogenized here.
Really?
Everywhere looks the same, but down there,
It's true.
every street corner has a
It's
story.
true. Yeah, that in fact there's a running joke, people who have not been back to Jamaica for years, they go back and they see the same guy sitting on the same car. They say, wait, wasn't
Right.
that guy here 20 years ago?
He was.
Same dude.
I say, boy, you go along in the middle of nowhere and you see
Yeah.
the same domino game on the same corner,
true.
the same Heinz 57
It's
dog
true.
walking in the street, and they're playing
Yeah.
the same game of dominoes,
It's
right?
true, it's true.
Time has stood still. Except right behind them, somebody has a laptop, and then on the other side, there's a
Cell phone.
satellite dish or a cell
Yeah,
phone, right?
it's true,
It's the
you're
same
right.
story.
You're right. So let's touch a little bit on some, well, first of all, to the budding digital photographers out there, some of which are young, kids, 18. I have a niece, she's 18 years old, she's a budding photographer. And of course I have, somebody who's 60 years old who's just discovered digital photography and is like having a blast. What would you say to people like that? Like, give them some tips, some hints,
Just get into it. Get a camera and don't be afraid to take a chance. Number one thing is straighten your horizon. Because that's the first thing that freaks me out when I see a photograph and the horizons are off. Straighten your horizon and get closer.
Yes.
So anytime you're going to take a picture of a person, always walk in and get closer. And don't take a picture of a person with the scenery behind.
Mm-hmm.
Take a picture of the scenery and then go and take a picture of the person close up and get really close. When you think you've gotten too close, get a little closer.
Yes. Okay, very good advice. And of course now you've had some opportunity to work with people like Brian Rose and stuff down in Jamaica,
Right.
because you're sort of living most of the time down there. What's that like working with Mr. B?
He's a great photographer.
He is, he really
is
is,
a really
eh?
great photographer.
Yeah.
And I think Franz Mazuka is fantastic.
Oh,
as
yes,
well.
absolutely.
Says the word. Franz
Yeah.
is incredible.
Yeah, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I guess I just mentioned that because I know you had spoken to to be. Of course, Francis is a good friend and phenomenal. Jeremy Francis is a great photographer as well. Howard Mo Young. There's a whole, you know, Jamaica's produced some amazing talent, whether it's art, pottery, ceramics, photography, music, etc. Just the vibe in Jamaica. I don't know if it's the coconut water. Wayne Jobson would probably say, you know, it's something to do with the ultra-rare weather.
I don't know what it is.
I know.
But I tell you what, though, the Ligony Art Festival that they had was an amazement to me.
Wow.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And if you're down there, go next year. It's really
For
good.
sure, for sure. Personally, now, what have you been doing the last couple of years? I mean, where have you obviously lived in Vancouver or living in Vancouver, sort
Taking
of.
some time off and in the process of moving back to Jamaica permanently.
Yeah.
Changing my occupation because I was in the insurance business.
Right.
I'm going to be doing something else.
Okay.
Probably photography.
Fabulous. Wonderful. So just bring people up to date on, you know, everything that you can think of that they may be interested in knowing. You got 2 sons, is it?
I have 2 sons, 23 and 24. I've been divorced for 19 years now.
Mm-hmm. So for all of you eligible bachelors listening out there, that is a free ad that we're giving.
Gosh, well, okay. But no Canadian guys.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and I just think it's time to move back to Jamaica. Things have changed. I've noticed over the last 10 years, the whole attitude of the local person.
Right.
You don't have this thing anymore about white person go home or anywhere. People have really changed.
Come of age, yeah.
And I think they're approaching tourism and the locals with a different attitude.
That's
And
good.
you know what? I love it.
Yeah.
Because for the first time I go back, and okay, there's violence there, but there's crime and violence everywhere you go.
Sure.
So really, in the end, it's about quality of life.
Yes.
It's about having your family and your friends around you, and a place to go that you can sit down and relax. And you know, home is home, right?
Sure.
If you came from Jamaica, that's home.
Sure, sure. No, I hear
There's
you.
a lot to appreciate
Yes.
there.
Yeah, it's a
And
good
it's getting
point.
better.
It's a good point. It's a good point. It shows maturity as well, you know, in a nation where they look beyond color and they look beyond
Absolutely.
things like that. They're looking to, okay, I want the same thing you do, you want the same thing I do, you know.
And it's kind of nice when you live in a little area and then you walk to the market and the same market lady that you knew 20 years ago recognizes you.
Fabulous.
The fisherman comes up and says,
That's
"Hi,
great.
Miss Sue, how are you doing?"
That's wonderful.
And there's that connection there
That's
because
wonderful.
that doesn't exist in most places.
Sure,
right?
yeah. So what are your 2 sons up to then? And I saw one of them in your flying thing that you sent. You sent a recent aviation as Sean, and he's
That's
doing flying? Ryan, I'm sorry.
Ryan wants to learn flying, and Sean is trying to finish up everything to get into med school.
Wow. Well, one of them was in film or something, wasn't
That's
it?
Sean.
That's Sean, but
Yeah,
he switched.
Graduated from Vancouver Film School and then decided he after working on Da Vinci's Inquest for 2 years, decided he's going to do medicine.
Wow. Okay, you'll do the real
You never
thing,
know
yeah.
where life is going to take you, right?
Yeah, sure, definitely. That's
Can't think
amazing.
of anything else, but that's
Yeah. Good,
Jamaica
excellent.
where it's at. I tell people if you haven't been back in a while, go back and just really
Yeah.
check out the place. It's
Cool.
getting better.
Cool. And we look forward to the Real Jamaica series with you, with whatever else is coming up. We won't disclose too much, but I'm sure you got lots of things in the pipeline that you're going to be shooting.
Yeah. And you know
Good.
what? It's funny because when I'm in Jamaica, every morning, Saturday morning or Sunday morning, at this crack of dawn, I'm up, go for a drive because you never know what you're going to see on the next street corner, right? Right? And you just go around and you see the most amazing things that you don't see in other places. And the sports is a big, especially
It is.
bicycling. It's a big thing in Jamaica these days.
Yeah, good. Well, good to have you on Once Time. Thank you very much for being a phenomenal contributor. I want to publicly acknowledge your work as being phenomenal for Once Time and deeply appreciative of everything you're doing. And
Thanks,
Jamaicans
I
out
enjoy
there and friends of Jamaica who come to the website, please visit Sue's web pages and you know, check out her work, man.
Well, I'm doing it for fun to encourage everybody that hasn't come back to come back and check Jamaica out.
Good.
So
Terrific.
that's why I'm doing it.
Good.
Thanks.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Excellent. Let me just make sure I got it. In the